it is a cultural issue. I put it back to the, 77% of Black families had a nuclear family in the 60s, which I would say we'd all say was a much more racist time, pre-civil rights era, right? Now you have less than 20% of Black families in the inner city who have a father in the household. That is a huge issue, and nobody wants to talk about it. And we always talk about, oh, well, we need to save Ukraine and we need to save all these. Look, here's the deal. Why don't we take those billions of dollars and put some programs in the inner city? Why don't we take all that money we sent to Ukraine and put it in Chicago, but have somebody in there like Elon and Doge to take out all of those programs, all of those acupuncturists in the jails. There are ways to do this, but the problem is you're racist if you talk about it. And nobody can bring up these points. And my point is legit. I grew up in an area where many of my friends were either killed by gang violence or ended up in prison. So everybody's like, you don't know what it's like. No, Elgin, motherfucker.
Yeah, you do.
No, I didn't grow up in Elgin. I grew up around Eaglewood, California.
Oh, jeez.
So I was in that area. That's where my friends were. I actually lived in Culver City, but that was where I rolled. And I will tell you this. I know exactly what the problem in those communities are. And I know, especially after what you told me, how we could fix it. And the problem is you have to root out the damage done by the bureaucracy, done by the evil Republicans and Democrats who are in there just fleecing their friends and making themselves rich. It's kind of like insider trading in Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I love her, but man, she did buy on the dip perfectly, didn't she? Nancy Pelosi, if we followed her stock market trades, dude, we'd be billionaires by now. It's a dirty game. And why would someone, think about it, why would someone get into politics? They make 160 grand a year. 160 grand is their salary, yet they're all worth 20 million plus.
Money.
It's because the money's coming back. Look at Biden and the whole thing with Ukraine and Burisma. Dude, this isn't shitting on Biden. I started with Marjorie Taylor Greene, so you can't get me for, you're MAGA. No, dude, I'll call a spade a spade. And at the end of the day, we're not going to fix this problem unless we have these discussions. But here's the problem. Elon goes in with Doge and he starts taking apart these programs, starting with USAID and all this stuff. And what happens? The tribal left gets together and say, oh, he's addicted. No. All he's doing is auditing. He has no power to fire anyone. He's just telling the Trump, hey, man, I'm seeing a bunch of shit over here. Trump's like, okay, I'm going to fire him. And he's calling out what they're doing. That's the problem, is that the machine and the media are so powerful that as soon as you start dismantling the machine gets all these sheep, all these idiots that I'll call Democrats, and just as a generic name, but let's call them Democrats. And they're going out and keying electric cars, which I thought were saving the earth. So that's the problem. And that is why, to compound on what you said, Izzo, we will never fix this issue because the machine on both sides, mostly on the left, but don't get me wrong, there are some morons on the right. Okay, the machine is so powerful and the psyop is so powerful that if we try to fix society itself will prevent it from being fixed.
They won't know how to course correct. One of the biggest problems, and nobody wants to hear this one. You want to go back to the Black community for a second? It's not the Black males. It's the women. It's the mothers, Black mothers. I listened to a University of Chicago professor talk 20 years ago about the fact that he believes that Black violence, and he was a Black man, stems from Black females in the household.